Hey, I'm Serenity and this is my channel and welcome back to my kitchen. Today, together, we are going to be cooking Thanksgiving dinner together. I've been doing this for 7 years since I was 15. I'm now 22. And the first year I did it because my mom was recovering from knee surgery, so she couldn't do it. But since then, I've been the one in charge of it and I don't mind. I actually really do like cooking for my family. I love cooking in general and baking. That is the microwave. The only thing is you need to stay out of my kitchen when I'm cooking. So I cook everything except for the turkey. I'm a vegetarian, going 9 years strong, so I do not cook the turkey. Maybe next year I think I want to try it. So that is none of me. This year I also did not cook any of the pies because I was having real trouble with pies this year. Like every time I made one, I kept burning the crust. I don't know why. So I was like, I'm not going to ruin Thanksgiving. We're going to buy the pies. I kind of regret that because 2 of the pies we had, which were pumpkin and cherry, were not good. But the mixed berry one we got at Whole Foods, it was really good. I recommend that one. Anyways, so we always start prepping on Wednesday. And this year I might have prepped a little too much on Wednesday because I was done cooking before the turkey was even done, and the turkey was only 8 pounds. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. And I know what you're thinking. As a vegetarian, what do you eat? I eat everything except for the turkey, pretty much. My family, we do. It's just 3 of us, and then sometimes my grandparents, sometimes not, depending on if they want to come or not. They're also vegetarians too. So the plate is hot, but here is my Thanksgiving plate. I have stuffing, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, first time making them, and they were so good, corn, cranberry sauce, mac and cheese, Tinny's mac and cheese, and I don't know, some of you can't cook, but I can cook. And this stuff is goated in this house. It's so good. Green bean casserole and then asparagus. Mexican household, we do chile con queso. If there's no chile con queso or mac and cheese, it is not Thanksgiving in this house. I guess for some people it is like, what is your weird dish? And I've seen some weird ones. I guess our weirdest one is queso, but that's just nachos, okay? I also have my rolls right here. Anyways, if you don't like how I cook something, you cook your own Thanksgiving. Obviously, you're just watching me do it through the screen. Some recipes have to be adapted, of course, because I don't eat meat. Let's get prepping Wednesday, where I am prepping our potatoes, dicing our veg, and making the mac and cheese. Also, I made the cinnamon rolls off camera because I was filming them for short. I forgot to film them for this video, so I can just insert the final video of me making the cinnamon roll. But I made this from scratch. Starting with peeling our sweet potatoes and then my regular potatoes. I got this really cool chopper you've probably seen all over the internet. I was really excited about it. So I quickly chopped the sweet potatoes using it, then peeled about 5 pounds of regular potatoes for my mashed potatoes and used the same chopper. Don't worry, I rinsed it and washed it between each use. And while I was chopping the potatoes, I got my water boiling. That way I can boil them right after. And I wasn't done with this chopper. I was like, you know what? I'm going to chop up the turkey, the celery, and carrots that go in it really small, even though that probably was more of a pain in the booty for my mother. Anyways, then I needed to shred the cheese for the mac and cheese. I was like, okay, I'm gonna use the grater on this cool gadget, and it was not working, and I had like 5 pounds of cheese to shred. I couldn't do it. So I tried to use my microplane and it wasn't working, and I wasn't gonna go out and go buy a cheese shredder the day before Thanksgiving. So I was like, I probably can use my blender. I googled it, and yeah, it said I could use my blender, and it created more of like a Parmesan cheese from a can texture, but it was gonna work. Okay, the cheese was shredded. So I put that in a bag and set in the fridge, and by the time that was done, my mashed potatoes were ready to be mashed. I heated up the cream, butter, and seasoning in a separate pot and mixed it with my mashed potatoes so it was nice and smooth. I like most of my lumps gone in my potatoes. Put it in an aluminum foil pan to rest overnight. I let it get to room temp before putting it in the fridge. Now this is where I technically should have stopped prepping. I was like, you know what, sweet potatoes are probably going to take a while to boil, so I boiled those, mashed those, and made the brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, and butter sauce that goes in it. Put it in another aluminum foil dish. That way on Thanksgiving all I had to do was top it with the mini marshmallows and bake that for 30 minutes. And then I was like, you know what, I found out I could prep Teeny's mac and cheese, so like let's go one step further, why not? So I boiled the pasta, and this is when we ran out of salt. We ran out of salt, so we had to go get salt from the store. Anyways, made my roux and all that, and I will say I probably could have put even more cheese in the cream sauce because I had a lot in the bag left over, but this mac and cheese recipe is so good, so easy to prep, and even with my minced cheese, it worked really well. I will say though, it develops more flavor as you eat it a couple days later, which is so good. Finally, it was time to make my cinnamon rolls, and these took about another hour, although I did not catch them on film for you horizontally. I was in the kitchen on Wednesday for about 6 hours in total. So I finished the night by cleaning up the kitchen, setting any dirty dishes into the dishwasher. Throughout this whole process, I was running the dishwasher constantly, about 3 loads. I'm someone who cleans as I go. Also,
the cinnamon rolls are for breakfast. That's why I make them. They're what we eat for breakfast. So they had to be ready to go in the morning. And the last thing I did was I set out what food is going to go into what.
So for Thanksgiving Day, we actually woke up at 8 a.m. The turkey was supposed to be in the oven at 6 and it was not defrosted, even though it's been in the fridge for 3 days. So we had to just like leave it on the counter to defrost. Well, not the counter, the fridge, because the dogs will take it off the counter. And from there, when we turned on the oven started smoking. I couldn't figure out why the oven was smoking. And it turns out when I had cooked the cinnamon rolls, apparently some of like the butter had gotten to the bottom and it was smoking really bad. So we had to turn the oven off, then scrape the bottom finally. So that put us about an hour behind, specifically on the turkey. Everything else kind of either just went in a crock pot or I prepped real quick. It took about 3-4 more hours to cook the rest, but I listened to the Wicked soundtrack the whole time. Also, maybe controversial, but my mother only eats the cranberry sauce that's jelly in a can by Ocean Spray. She does not like fresh cranberries, she does not like whole cranberries. So that is the cranberry sauce we use.
I started with putting the cranberry sauce in a glass dish and setting aside, then making my green bean casserole, which I learned that morning my mom had gotten just from the back of the box of the onions. Anyways, that was a shocker. I put the marshmallows on top of the sweet potatoes, got those in the oven, along with the asparagus that I prepped with olive oil, butter, garlic, paprika, lemon, pepper, which I bought pre-cut. Then I made the stuffing from a bag from Whole Foods, which is just olive oil and water, fluffed it up into a casserole dish, set it aside for 5 minutes so it could absorb the liquid, and then I added a bunch of seasonings from Trader Joe's. Next, I put all my rolls in a tray, and by this time, my mac and cheese and green bean casserole were pretty much done. So I took those out of the oven and got the next batch of food in the oven. Now, the thing about Thanksgiving, it's Tetris. You gotta play with temperatures and make sure everything goes in. So for this, we made sure everything was at 350. So I put my asparagus and sweet potatoes in next for 30 minutes. And life hack, multiple timers on the iPad, life-changing. Finally, it was like the last thing I had to do was make chile con queso, which is my family's favorite. So I'm just using the block of Velveeta cheese because, you know what, I'm lazy. With some cream cheese and heavy cream, letting that melt down while I chop up my jalapenos and green chilies. I am wearing a glove because I don't want to get that stuff in my eye. I added some red salsa, give it one final mix. From here, I put the queso in my 3-pot crock pot, along with the canned corn and pre-made gravy to keep those things warm. And we were ready to eat at around 2 p.m. once the turkey was done. So here was the whole spread for 3 people. And don't mind the half-drunken Dr. Pepper in the back. I have no self-control. But we enjoyed our meal while watching some football game. I don't know. I don't watch football. It's, I don't know, 7. Now we are going to clean up, quote unquote. I clean as I go. So I unloaded the dishwasher from earlier. Now I'm gonna put up like the stuff in the crock pot, that sort of food. So I took out my contacts, so I have my glasses on. I never did my makeup because we all just kind of just stayed in our lounge clothes, I guess. And that's what we are going to do. I was gonna do more, but then I took a nap. Last thing I did is I put away all the leftovers in food safe containers or with foil on top of their aluminum pans. Put another load of dishes in the dishwasher because I was already washing the dishes from earlier, and then wiped down all my counters while making myself my second plate in order to reset the kitchen.
Girl, I am an iPad kid at heart. I don't know what I'm watching. I'm watching something. I know that's Laura Norris. That's what I'm watching. Also, this dog knows how to sit at the table.
Yeah, and that is our meal. For Christmas, we don't really cook. Again, a Mexican tradition is you eat tamales and rice and beans, but I will be making the pies, so maybe I'll take you along for that journey. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I do a lot of more like cake decorating long form videos. And as always, the doggo picture of the day is going to be this picture of Nova. She sat at the table. Her and Clover, my other dog, know how to sit at the table. Yeah, that's all I have for you. Love you, mean it, kisses, drink things stupid. I'll see you next time. Bye.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you